Hello everyone, name's Sir Jeets and welcome to my first ever video for YouTube. And for my first informative video, I thought about talking about combat alchemy, which is what it's technically called in the Fullmetal Alchemist series. And I'm also going to be discussing about Fullmetal Alchemist from now on my channel and maybe do some different stuff here and there. But for most of the part, you're going to get Fullmetal Alchemist mostly because one, that's my favorite anime series ever. And two, because I was like, why not? One day I was like, yeah, I'm going to create my own YouTube channel for Fullmetal Alchemist. So here it is. And just to let you know, this is my first ever video. So I apologize if the recording sounds like a bit like chappy or choppy, whatever you want to call it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, like I said before, I'm going to be talking about combat alchemy, specifically the way that Alphonse and Edward Elric use their alchemy. I know these two are not the only characters to use it. There are Izumi Curtis that use it as well. I will mention the ones that have used combat alchemy in this one, so don't worry, so that I can make sure I won't miss anyone. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Just a heads up note, I am diving into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, you don't have to stay if you don't want to get spoiled, but you have been warned. Now, we all are aware that in both the 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist and in Brotherhood, Edward and Alphonse attempted to perform human transmutation in order to bring back their dead mother. However, their human transmutation experiment failed and they ended up being flung into a white void where they meet a being called the Truth. The Truth would then force Edward's body through his Gate of Truth in order to learn the secrets about alchemy. And not long after going through the Gate of Truth, Edward no longer required to use a circle to transmute. Instead, Edward has to clap his hands together to transmute anything into anything he wants, which is why some of the characters throughout the show started to call him a gifted alchemist. Now, I am aware that Alphonse also went through the Gate of Truth just like Edward. However, unlike Edward, Alphonse cannot perform alchemy the same way his brother did, and instead he still had to use a transmutation circle in order to transmute. However, we later found out that in episode 14 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Alphonse had no memory of him going through the Gate of Truth just like his brother did. And it wasn't until after the situation with Greed, after episode 14, Alphonse started to regain his memories, and now he can perform alchemy by clapping his hands just like Edward can. Now to get into the other good stuff about alchemy, Edward and Alphonse can clap their hands and make the terrain or the buildings or anything that they touch transmute into anything that they want it to, so long as they go through the law of equivalent exchange, which means anything of equal mass can be turned into anything as long as it's within that category. Edward and Alphonse can transmute the ground, making it become ginormous hands, stepping stools that they can run or jump on, walls that they can use to either block enemies or create for dam purposes. Izumi Curtis, another character in the Full Metal Alchemist series, can also perform alchemy without a transmutation circle, but instead can clap her hands and is also the teacher of Edward and Alphonse Elric. And just like in its name, Edward can also use the alchemy for combat, just like as he did in most of his fights, especially with Greed, when he can turn the terrain into spikes in order just to counter Greed's ultimate shield. Another cool fact about their alchemy is that Edward and Alphonse can also use their alchemy to forge weapons out of any material that they're using. Edward forged a blade from his automail using alchemy. Edward also forged a spear from the ground and is also his primary weapon outside of his automail blade. Alphonse created a mini-sphere during his and Riza's encounter with Lust in episode 19. During the battle against Father in episode 62, Izumi used her alchemy to forge two swords. During the first episode, Edward was shown to turn his spear into a spiked bat, which was pretty cool. And the alchemy can also be used to create doors or doorways. Another person who saw the Gate of Truth was Roy Mustang. After being forced to open the gate by Pride and King Bradley, Roy Mustang went through the Gate of Truth and had his eyesight taken away. However, just like Edward and Alphonse, Roy Mustang can also perform alchemy without a transmutation circle and instead can just simply clap his hands. But unlike Edward and Alphonse, Roy Mustang's alchemy is mostly based off of fire and less of terrain, so we only get to see him use it once when everybody was fighting against Father, which is the image that you see right here on the screen, so there's that. But yeah, guys, for the most part, that's pretty much it for combat alchemy. Now, to be fair, there are other characters that have used combat alchemy, but the problem is that the way how they go about using it is completely different than the way how Edward and Alphonse and Izumi do it. I know Scar can do it during this fight against King Bradley, but that's just because Scar had his brother's circle of reconstruction on his left arm, so I don't know if that counts. And then you got Von Hohenheim and Father, and they can use out combat alchemy, but that's just because they're powered by Philosopher's Stone, so I don't even know. You know what? How about this? Let's just say, for the sake of consistency for this video, I'm gonna do a video on Scar and his powers, and I'm gonna do a video on the Philosopher's Stone, just so I can explain the differences more clear and more better for you guys. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it about combat alchemy. Sorry if it seemed short or maybe seemed long or something like that, but this is my first YouTube video, and I hope I did a good job on it. I feel as though I did, because this is, like I said many times, this is my first YouTube video, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and if you have any favorite characters in Fullmetal Alchemist, you can type them in the comments, because I love to hear people's opinions on the show. I really like Fullmetal Alchemist personally. So again, like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends or family or any other person that you know that are Fullmetal Alchemist fans. And until next time, I'm Sir Jeets, and I'll be seeing you guys later.